What's going on, everybody? We are back. It's your friend Will. This is the Memory Lapse. It's a rare evening recording, so we're feeling a little peppy today. Having ourselves a little cola and lemon, and taking a look at this Esper control list, because if you, like me, try to have your finger on the pulse of the Magic community, in particular the deck builders and pundits, there's been a lot of talk about Thought Erasure being the best card in Standard. So let's give it a shot, and where better to start than Oliver Tomajko's Esper list, which he tweeted out recently, along with some nice sideboarding notes. So we're not going to be fumbling our sideboarding here. And yeah, his claim was the best deck in the format. And I guess if your metric for how good a deck is how few win conditions it has. Certainly. So let's give it a shot. We are in the bottom of Diamond. We're like 4 ticks into Diamond 4. So let's see if we can rank up a little bit. We won 2 this morning off video. 2-0, 2-0 against Is It Drake's. So we have a little bit of room to play with here. And we, of course, have the safety of being Diamond 4, so we can't derank down to Plat. And we're playing against the number 3 player in the world. And we can keep this. Swamp makes it work for us. And they're on mono white. So we probably have to save this Moment of Craving for a Adonto Vanguard. That's possibly coming down this turn. Haunted Witness. Humpus Wumpus. Alright, so we take 2 damage here. Just passing again. We have Mortify. Next turn we have Wrath. Kaya's Wrath. History of Benalia. I wonder if it's better to mortify the history. If we mortify the history, it doesn't commit us to playing the Kaya's Wrath. So yeah, let's do that. Nice thing about them being mono white, at least until they show us a mountain, is we know that we are going to die by creature damage. We're not going to die by burn spells, so we can go down to 1. Before we have to worry. Alright. So we take 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We'll go down to 7. We'll play our Chemister's Insight. I guess we kind of want to... Yes, okay, so they've got nothing and... no second Hunted Witness. A second Hunted Witness would be kind of annoying. Because they stick around. Alright, that's a nice backup there. Oh, did I accidentally set a stop there? Draw. So, yes, we will kindly invite Miss Kaya. Yeah, so that was played on turn 1, so it doesn't do anything. Get a second blue source into play. Now next turn we can play Teferi plus Moment of Craving. Oh yeah. That rates to be pretty good. Get another blue source in. Alright, so this feels like, I don't know, we are at 6. Things can change, but we're at a virtual 10. Our wisdom pays off. Alright, so we can always free that with Mortify. Let's just do this now, use the mana. Get to see the other mode. Ah, we don't even have to. We can save the Mortify here. So we have to kind of debate the virtue of playing this Godless Shrine untapped and search, but I think we can afford to play it slow. I think we have the luxury of being able to play it slow here because we're pretty far ahead. Dauntless Bodyguard. Choose a creature. So we have to do this now. Alright, so this gives our... I think that was their most likely target. Snubport Sentry is still pretty far away from aggro mode, and yeah, we didn't want to use the Mortify because for exactly this reason. So I wonder, do we just peek their hand this turn? They haven't played lands in a couple turns. They are the third best player in the world, so they could be sandbagging us. Nope. Alright. We get to flip the search next turn. Ooh. Alright, I'm gonna say it's worth shocking here to have absorbed mana to catch a Conclave Tribunal if they find their fourth. I'm gonna call worth on that. And here we can just cash it in. So we paid for life loss. Nice, scoop it up. So I imagine we're bringing in more Moment of Craving. But let's take a look. Bell-Haunt, cast down Moment of Craving, Lyra. And Hostage Taker. And what leaves? 3 Thought Erasures, an Absorb, 2 Absorbs, Chromium, Insight, and Precog. So we're just adding gas to the deck and removing some of the stuff that cost us mana to get there. Bell-Haunt seems like a sweet one. So of course the way the rating system works is if we win this one, we become the default third best player in the world. But that's just how it is. Wati makes the rules, not me. So yeah, double black, double white. We have Mortify into Kaya's Wrath. The only thing that really disrupts this draw is like a super heavy Adanto hand, but don't think we can mulligan with 5 lands. And that's basically insurance against an Adanto Vanguard here. Want to be careful not to play this basic island until turn 5 because it interrupts our Kaya's Wrath. This is quite the sore thumb here. But yeah, we'll take 2. And probably Moment of Craving it on our main phase. Assuming they have Loxodons, we don't want to give them the assisted casting on that. Just to make it harder for them to curve into a Loxodon here. There's a chance that those come out in this matchup. Tide Taker's a nice one. Another Wrath. I guess we need to decide now if it's worth mortifying We can't do it on their turn because of the Tithe Taker. It takes us from taking 5 to taking 4, which is the difference between a 5-turn clock and a 4-turn clock. So let's do this now. Maybe not the best use of Mortify, but with 2 Wraths to back us up and then Chemister's Insight to draw us back into the game. The hope here is that by removing the Tithe Taker, we'll be able to have a more luxurious... Well, no. Now we're going to have to play the first Wrath next turn. Uh-oh. Look at this. Is this how you get to be number 3 in the world? By spewing just your entire hand onto the board into the 4x Kaya's Wrath deck? They probably scoop right here. This is why they're number 3 and not number 2 or number 1. Some things can't be taught. I wish I could see how much rating we took from them, because I bet it's pretty hard to stay in the top 10 right now. Alright, so that's 1 in the bag. 11 minutes with Esper control with no win conditions. The win condition is frustration. Alright, so if we draw a black source this hand, it's like super double extra gas, but as it is, we have Search into Absorbs. So against any kind of mid-range deck or another control deck, this is a monster hand. Against red deck, this is not a monster. We're going to be leaning hard on the life gain of these Absorbs and hope that Search is kind to us. I gotta say, this is an aggro deck name right here. This person's playing like mono red or mono white. Joshua. Oh, nope. Oh, okay. They're playing like... It's either the mirror or they're playing the mid-range Esper deck. I bet our matchup is decent against the mid-range Esper deck, depending on how their Thought Erasures work out. So they probably want to take an Absorb because they're the only cards we can cast. Alright. That's fine, because now we don't even feel bad that we don't have the land for it. Alright, I think we're graveyarding. This will maybe make them think, oh, they didn't find the land. Because we know that they know these 3 cards. Ooh. So, okay, so they're on control. So what's the worst they can do with 4 mana? We're not at risk of them playing Teferi against us. So I'm actually going to protect this. Just keep hitting our land drops. Trading 1 for 1 to protect this in a turn where they're not threatening to really devastate us on the follow-up is pretty good. And the long-term, like the long-game card advantage that this will get if it flips is really unbeatable. Alright, they just play land and say go. Yeah, in these long matchups, we really don't want to just be bidding land off the top, but we will bin this island to Chemister's Insight. If they just do another land go turn. Looks like that's where they're at. I can almost see an argument for Contempt, but I know we're going to have to fight over Teferi at some point. Nice. 2 land's actually great, so we could ditch this land now. Yes. Alright, so we have double absorb. We're ahead on land by virtue of going first and not missing land drops. We have an active search. Draw 3 is huge. Don't even really care about the addendum here because lands or spells are both good from the position we're in right now. Search for Azcanta. 3. I think we don't want to fight over that. We're a little bit ahead on it. I'd rather just have the mana to jam this precog. They're going to be scared to counter this. Knowing we have this absorb, because we could easily, if bait them into countering this here, untap, play land and Teferi with absorb mana to back it up. So they would have to have like Spell Pierce or something, wouldn't even be good. So I would guess that they'll let this resolve. So it's a risk that we're taking. But yeah, look at these huge rewards. Just keep playing land. Now we actually do have the Teferi punish if we win a counter war on their turn. They get to bin Moment of Craving. That's a good one for them to get rid of. We could have shocked this to go for Chemister's Flashback. Or Chemister's Jumpstart. That probably would have been better because the 2 life, it's not going to matter that much. Alright, let's take a little poke around. This leaves us with 7, so enough for absorb and flashback. Oh, wow. Their hand is Garbo, as we say in the industry. Back up to Teferi, that seems okay. Maybe they scoop here. Could have untapped a black source for Contempt. But we know their hand now, so they're either top decking a counter spell or something that we can counter that they can't protect. So their position is dire here. If you're the opponent, I mean, you know about this absorb. Yeah, like you just aren't winning. They need to top deck like 2 or 3 things in a row to try to fight through it. That one absorb they know about, and then they don't even get through the absorb they don't know about. So in the Esper matchup, we're taking out the Wraths, taking out 2 Moment of Craving, 1 Contempt, and on the draw we're taking out a Mortify. And we want 2 Duress, Negate. I love this. This is like cheating. Thief. And we want Cast Down on the draw, which I imagine is to counter their Thief. And I guess this has some more versatility than Moment of Craving. And look, this actually keeping Chromium, which is interesting. It seems like Oliver has Chromium coming out in a lot of matchups. And then on the play, we are putting in Hostage Taker and taking out the Cast Down, putting in Absorb and taking out a Mortify. Or no, the other way around. Let's see how our hand looks here. That draw 3 was beautiful. This is a nice one. This hand is actually it's pretty good against duresses and thought erasures. I like that robustness to it. It's vulnerable to early game counter magic in the form of negate, but I think we're keeping it. We have all our colors nicely represented here. So if they thought erasure us here, they're probably going to take the cast down. Nope. Do we just shock it here? We don't really care about the life, right? Let's just shock it. That also might make them think that we're on a land light hand. Oh, so this is beautiful. Right, so now we're playing just hit land drops. Hope that I don't have a heavy Thief of Sanity draw. And just start playing Chemisters on their turn and crafting our hand into something that can eventually win. Just keep drawing and putting a land into play. Hopefully they miss land drops before we do. Worth a shot. If they negate back here, then they're using the negate. They chose not to. If I'm them, I consider negating back simply because, for the same reason we protected ours and negated the Mortify in game 1. What am I going to do on 4 mana? Not very much. I mean, maybe in some universes I side in like a Karn, or I have some main deck. I have seen some lists. Unmoored Ego. So what do they name here? Teferi. They named Teferi. We still have Chromium. So is it better to fight over this and let them potentially negate it? Or to Chemisters? I guess we should fight. That's a close call. Okay, they're showing us that they have no interaction. They could just YOLO jam a Teferi here. That'd be very bad for us. Yep. So we're hoping to hit Teferi here. Alright, it's a game now. That's a really good one. This lets us Thought Erasure them first. Vraska's Contempt. Wow, they kept him Moment of Craving. Okay. Wow, and like that, the tides have turned a little bit. So if this is a land, they want to play this one. And we just YOLO jam it here, I think. The payoff is too good. Plus we get to untap 2 lands for Chemisters. So winning from this point should be fairly doable. Wow, that Thought Erasure just showed they had nothing. So maybe this is why they weren't countering back. They were sitting on the Syncopate. This list doesn't play those. Probably for exactly that reason. It's a very awkward... It plays very awkwardly in the Counter Wars game. So if we play Chemisters here, we technically are giving them a window if they drew Vraska's Contempt, but we don't have permission anyways. We're just gonna win by getting ahead in cards regardless, so Probably don't need a Thought Erasure yet. I think we save this Thought Erasure for a turn later where... Yeah, we save it for a turn later where it might matter. Like where we might want to peek their hand, check for an Absorb or a Negate. Alright. Let's jumpstart. Improving card quality here is going to be important. That Absorb is nice. So let's actually hold this Absorb and not give them an opportunity. This almost feels like a Thought Erasure turn because we're so close to Teferi Ultimate now. And this could force them to Contempt, which we can then absorb. It's funny how the context of the game changes so quickly. Like, us having that absorb now. Alright, so we're not going to counter back. This just feels like they know we're probably going to take the absorb. Just going to let that resolve. And go back to them having one blank card in hand. And we can ditch our Godless Shrine to Chemister's Insight, jumpstart on their turn. Yeah. Alright. So that was a nice little 2-0, 2-0. 27 minutes, so let's stop it there. And we've climbed 4 clicks in further into Diamond. We're now nicely in Diamond 3. We got 40 gems for our effort there. Oh, it even shows us it was going to be from the most recent set. Gesturing, even though my hand probably goes out of the shot there. So yeah, that's it for this one. So I don't think I've actually lost a single game with this now. I'm 8-0 in games, 4-0 in matches, and best of 3 ranked. And maybe Oliver's right. Maybe it's the best deck, but let's play a couple more. So let's end the video here. I hope you enjoyed that. Hope you enjoyed the increased energy that comes with me recording in the evening instead of early in the morning, like devastatingly early. And yeah, if you did, please like, subscribe, comment, do all the good stuff you do to support the content that you like, and consider following the Twitch channel as well to catch streams on the weekends or just whenever I have random hours. I like to throw the stream up, put on some music usually, and just hang out and play games. Yep, so wrapping it up, we'll be back with another couple rounds shortly.